pond fishing's where so many people got their start. Me and you both included. We both spent a lot of time walking around ponds, and sometimes we go deer hunting, we get ponds.
Yeah, and that you can't turn down a trip to a pond just to go catch a few fish, no matter what size they are. Big, little, short, or tall. I mean,
I agree. We've
just
done
have something to tug on your line. And to think about all the things we've done as kids, this kind of brings you back to what we're fixing to do, back to our grassroots. You know, we fished out everything there was. Floating on a piece of styrofoam, getting an inner tube and floating, just so you could, it's like the grass is always greener on the other side or out there a little bit further. So,
well, Kyle thinks he needs to get through the fence, and right now we're about to go down and launch a boat, which is not as probably one of the worst ones I've ever been in, but we are going to need cups, and they're not going to be for beverages.
This one could be a little sketchy, but I think it's worth a try.
I think it's worth a try. We can go down there and start bailing, and hey, here's the thing, I don't think the pond's that deep.
And the coolest thing about it is our tackle box.
Yes.
I mean, how fun is that? Just to have a sack as your tackle box.
That's all you need. That and a cup to bail.
On this episode of the Bass Pro Shop's Fisherman's Handbook, host Wade Middleton is joined by his good buddy Jeff Reynolds for a pond fishing adventure. They've traveled to Kentucky for an early season deer hunt, but before opening day gets here, they're going to take out onto a pond at deer camp to see if they can catch some fish to bring back and fry up for the crew at dinner.
Anytime I'm driving down the highway, I'm driving through a pasture, I'm driving off, it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I see a pond or a body of water, a creek or river, I'm instantly looking at it. I've been that way since a little kid, and I start daydreaming about what might be swimming in that pond. And so when we pulled into where we're hunting in Kentucky, I mean, there was a pond. The first thing we're thinking, maybe there's fish in it.
You know, for the past several years, we've been coming to Kentucky to deer hunt for, it's a velvet hunt, you know, opens the 1st of September. And we've been coming down here. I love it in Kentucky. It's beautiful country. But on this particular hunt, the place we were staying this time, the house we were staying in right in front of it, there was a pond. Well, as soon as me and Wade pulled in, we're like, oh, look at there, there's a pond. And Wade had already knew there was a pond there, so he had stuff in his trailer for this. He had some rod and reels, he had some tackle. You know, we were thinking, we get a chance, we know we're gonna get a chance. We're gonna get in that pond, we're gonna see if there's some fish in it.
Think we can get it up fast enough on pad to pull the plug?
Well, I don't know. Well, we're not making a lot of progress with the cups, so we're thinking we can drag it ashore and see if we can turn it over and dump some water out.
That's just a live well. It's a built-in live well.
That's true.
You know, when you, walking around, we got here, camera guys weren't even here. We had set up some deer stands and stuff, and we walked down to the pond, did a little pre-scouting kind of learning, and a couple things become pretty apparent. This wasn't gonna be an easy pond to walk around because the best place was gonna be along the dam is pretty overgrown and there's lots of timber laydowns right there. But then we saw a boat. And when I say a boat, that's a pretty loose term. Now, if you've ever been around a pond or out in the pasture where there's a pond, there's probably an old John boat there. And if you flip it up, you look underneath it, there might be a snake or a turtle or a rabbit or a coyote. Who knows what's living under there? This one was in the water and it was full of water. This is the launch of the SSS Algae.
We're like, hey, we can make this work. We can get in this boat. You always think if you get out in the boat, you can catch more fish. Stand on the bank, you throw out in the middle. You get in the boat, you throw towards the bank. It don't make sense, but it's just what we do. So we get down there and we get in this boat. It's got water in it, so obviously I'm thinking, well, it don't leak because it's got water in it, so it's holding water. So we pull the plug on it, pull it up on the bank, get it drained out. We've got like 3 or 4 boat paddles. So hey, let's get in there and let's see what we can do.
You know, Jeff is very similar to me from our mindset of kids growing up. We went to, we went to a lot of ponds that we probably didn't have permission to go to. If you could run fast enough, you could outrun the old farmer back then. And that's just what you did as kids. You wanted to fish every pond, and this pond's no different. And so whatever it was going to take, we were going to get out there and go fishing.
Right.
We're moving. Let's
need
go.
A longer paddle.
I'm gonna let you turn this around and we'll get pointed.
Okay.
I don't see any water coming in.
I'm gonna tell you what, this mud is slick on the
I'm telling you right now.
bottom of this.
There's a lot of bugs in this boat.
bring any water?
Nope.
How about oxygen?
Nope.
It's time now for our first break in the show. When we return, with the boat now set up and ready to go fishing, Wade and Jeff make their way towards the dam in search of dinner. Keep it tuned here to see the fish catching action.
Oh, you got one. You got perch. On the board. Man, I tell you, anytime you get a chance to go fish a pond, that is so much fun to me. I've my whole life I've spent bass fishing, crappie fishing, cat fishing, anything that'll tug on your line. And I've spent a lot of time doing it in the lake, doing it for a living, fishing tournaments. But growing up as a kid, I fished ponds all the time. Every time my mom and dad would let me go to a pond, I would go and just fish as long as they would let me fish. And now that I'm older, it's almost kind of like, the world kind of comes 360 and you go right back to what you did when you was a kid. And it's just so much fun because normally in a pond, you can always get bit.
There's one.
Oh,
Got a bass. Got me backwards. I'm in the bushes. You got one?
I got a perch.
You got a perch. Oh yeah.
A keeper?
I don't know, we think 12.
Oh yeah, that 12 easy.
When you build a pond, whoever builds the pond, there's usually a pit. They get down there with a dozer and they dig it out. That's the deepest water. And that was the case here. And it's the early in September while we're out here right now. So it's hot, but those fish, that's where they were. And that's where we started catching them.
Oh, there we go. Oh, good one.
What is what?
That's a bass.
That's cool. Get him in there.
Oh. Fish in the boat.
I think I'm winning.
No, it is. There's 2 fish on the stringer. I got one, you got one.
But who catches the most and caught the first?
No.
Most and first.
Prove it. Prove it.
I got cameramen.
Oh, dang. I forgot about that. Well, normally we don't have cameras. Look at you front ending me.
Good calling,
That is. We're competitive. This is for fun. We're trying to catch fish to eat, but still, it don't matter. When you get 2 50-year-old men that have competed their whole life, you're still thinking, yeah, I'm gonna try to catch 1 or 2 more than he does. So we're getting up there and I'm gonna tell it the way I seen it. I was paddling most of the time and Wade was fishing. He probably caught a couple more than I did, but it was because I was doing all the paddling. Now we were trying to catch crappie or bass, either one to eat. I mean, they're both great eating. We're just catching keeper size fish, good eating size. And man, was it fun. Golly, we had a ball.
Dude, that was so awesome.
Oh, that's a crappie.
That's a crappie. Get him in here. Oh, that's a good one too. You caught him deep.
He's right where I had that a while ago, right out in front of that tree.
Another one. I think I got it. Look at here.
Oh, that's a crappie. That's some good eating right there.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good one. Bring these bad boys up.
Let me get the string out. Oh. Well, I'm proud you decided to bring a fish cooker.
It's freaking gonna be good.
We've reached our second break in the show. Coming up next on the Bass Pro Shops Fisherman's Handbook, Jeff sets the hook on a good one. Stay tuned to see him land the biggest fish of the entire trip.
You know, in a farm pond, there's always a few apex predators in there. There's always a big bass in these farm ponds, and it's amazing how many times you know people can catch that big fish. And yeah, we were putting some on a stringer. We were getting ready for a fish fry, but you know, Jeff caught a big one. That's one that's, you know, earned our respect that we let go. But when I talk about a big one, it was a big one.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's a little better right there. Oh, that's an old boat puller. Dang.
He's going away.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, it's about 4 or 5 pounder.
Oh, it's a big one. Easy, baby.
We gotta let him.
Yeah. Ow!
That's a tank. That sucker's a tank.
Oh, look, he's humpback.
Yeah, he is. Hey, that's a good one. Hold him up over here.
Look at that.
That's a good
We
one.
wasn't expecting that.
No.
Look how thick he is. Boy, that sucker's thick.
Farm
Look at his
ponds.
back.
Farm ponds. Been eating all the crappie we're supposed
He
to be
has.
catching.
Well, he kind of mangled my little bill spin.
That's awesome.
That's cool. We don't let him go,
Let
don't
him
we?
go. He won't go in grease tonight.
No. You get to live, buddy. Thank
You're
you for the
dandy.
fight. There he goes. That was cool, wasn't it? Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, man. He's pulling this boat all over the
He
place.
turned us everywhere. This is simple fishing. Pond fishing is very simple. We had a bag of some baits that I had bought at Bass Pro Shop, soft plastics, various ones, little jig heads, little lightweight jig heads, little beetle spin type baits, any type of a little small minnow. You don't have to overpower it. Yes, I have thrown big frogs on ponds, and I've thrown crankbaits and Texas rigs and stuff, but this kind of fishing where you're trying to fish for a fish fry and get bites, keep it simple and you're gonna have a lot of fun.
The fish come off, and then I hooked the stick.
That isn't no stick. I think I got a crappie
Oh, you do?
right out in front of that green bush out there, just like the other one. These are good ones too.
Now I see why you wanted to put the stringer up here by me.
You want laying them and putting them in the grease.
No, I won't.
They're out there in front of that thing.
Yep. You know, when you go to a pond fishing, you know, whether you're looking for a mess of fish to eat, or if you're just looking for something to tug on your line, normally you can always get bit. Throwing small baits, like my favorite thing is just a little beetle spin. You know, you can buy them at any tackle store. You just get a little old beetle spin, they're like $1.50 or something like that. But just throwing that thing out there and reeling it back, it's kind of like a spinner bait. That's what I love to do, chunking and winding. And you can catch bluegill, you can catch crappie, you can catch bass, pretty much anything that swims. You can catch it on a little beetle spin or a little grub, just something small.
You know, I was using a panfish rod and reel combo from Bass Pro Shops with 20-pound Sunline braid and a 7-pound Sunline leader. Same thing I use on about all my crappie trips when I'm in my big bass boat. This time it just happened to be from an old aluminum boat that's pretty beat up in a small farm pond in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky while we're out on a hunting trip. And I mean, whether you're a kid at 5 years old catching your first bluegill or you're 80 years old, you're casting out there and you're moving that bait along slow, your feet are in the sloppy mud from the water leaking into your boat, and you just can feel that tap tap, and your rod loads up, and whether it's a bass jumping or a crappie kind of thrashing or a bluegill skipping sideways, it is still the best feeling in the world. It's a bite and it's coming in. Uh-oh. Tugger?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good crappie.
Yep.
It's a good crappie. Hey, that's a big old slab.
He was way out here, Wade.
Holy cow.
Coming up after the break, we wrap up this crappie fishing adventure and make our way back to camp to fry up the day's catch. Don't go away.
Whatever it is, it's something decent.
You got one next here if it's a blue gill.
I got
Got a big one.
I got a good one. Oh, come on up and jump for me.
I haven't seen
Here
it.
it comes.
Oh yeah, 3 pounder. You're winning the weight deal.
I thought that's what we were doing.
I won most and first, right? You got the
Yep.
biggest. I don't know if I caught the most or not.
Oh, you by far caught the most. I'm just fishing for biggins.
You're fishing for big.
Yeah,
That's all. Yeah.
I'm trying.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Welcome back to the Bass Pro Shops Fisherman's Handbook. Today, Wade and Jeff have been catching boatloads of fish in Kentucky as they're out at deer camp, waiting for their big hunt to start in the morning. The day has produced plenty of great bites, and the two good friends are returning back to the dock now with their day's catch, a bounty that will soon feed the whole crew back at camp.
The secrets to our success.
Heck yeah. You know, getting to do that, it kind of brings back old memories from when you were a kid. You know, going out and going with your buddy and going up to a pond, catching fish, and whether you're keeping them to eat or you're just throwing them back, just having a good time. That's what the outdoors is all about. That's what we do it for. And the best thing is taking them back, cleaning them, having a fish fry, having all the rest of your buddies together. You're eating, you're talking, you're telling stories, whether it's hunt from 15 years ago or a fishing trip from 15 years ago. It's just bringing back old memories and having a good time. And that's what we live for, is to have a good time. You know, when we caught these fish, you know, it's time to fillet them. Wade had a fillet knife from Bass Pro Shops, the XPS fillet knife. It is a battery operated fillet knife, and it's the first time I've ever used it. I actually have one myself at the house. It's a Bass Pro Shops, but it's an electric one. Works great, cleaned millions of fish with it. This one is battery operated. The cool thing about this is you don't always have electricity. You know, if you're off camping somewhere and you know, you find a creek or something that's got fish in, you catch some, you want to cook them up, you don't always have electricity with you. With a battery operated one, man, it cuts great, great knife, sharp blades, did a great job for what we needed to do. And now I'm gonna get me one. You never know, you don't always have electricity. Sometimes you need a battery powered knife, and this thing did the trick.
Best thing about it, we knew about what we wanted to catch to have a fish fry. We had just, you know, picked up a fish fryer. We've got all the batter. We got some hush puppies we're gonna make. We got some French fries that we're gonna throw in the grease. Jeff's over there cleaning the fish right now. Fresh fish, fishing in a pond, fishing with your buddies. Everybody's here for deer camp. I mean, you just pretty much can't find a better Friday afternoon. It's gonna turn into a Friday night full of lies and eating fish, and then we'll get up tomorrow, we'll be thinking about deer hunting.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Bass Pro Shops Fisherman's Handbook. This has been a Caraco TV production.